Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. My name is Angela, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a successful makeup application on very dry skin. Because when I go back and look at my old videos from like a year ago showing you guys how I apply makeup, my methods have changed so much and my makeup just goes on so much smoother and it looks nicer throughout the day. It doesn't feel cakey or look dry throughout the day, and it's just so much better. And I think that I am not the only person with dry skin who has struggled with makeup application. So I really hope that these tips will help you. And today's video is a little bit different. The way I filmed it was I just filmed myself doing my makeup like I normally do in my bathroom, and I did a voiceover talking about all the products that I use, my favorite products for my dry skin, and how I use these methods to get this flawless glowy look. So I hope you guys like that. I'm playing around with the way I film things to see what you guys prefer, so definitely let me know in the comments. With that being said, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I do post new videos every single week, and I do post all things beauty and paranormal here, so if you love a little spooky with your beauty, then I would love for you to stick around and join our YouTube family. And let's go ahead and get into these tips. So the first thing that you want to make sure you do, especially with dry skin, is to make sure that you moisturize your face really well before applying your makeup. And the first thing I'm going to be putting on my face is a toner, and I actually make mine at home. So I use apple cider vinegar with water, mixed with water. It's just half apple cider vinegar, half water. And this is really good for improving pH balance of the skin. It's also good for reducing like acne scars and brightening of the skin. So I'm going ahead and doing that first. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and apply this product called Collagen Gelapack. I actually found this at Nordstrom last week and I absolutely love it. And this is by the brand Elizabeth Green Piggy, I think. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I think it's a Korean skincare brand because it's all written in Korean, I believe. So you're going to take a spatula that it came with and just put some on your face, and then you are going to rub it into your face lightly with your fingers for about 2 minutes. And I will say that I have noticed actually a huge difference in my face and my fine lines and the brightness of my skin just in the past couple of days of using it, and I've only used it this past week for like 3 or 4 days, so I would definitely recommend. I think it was like $10 and something cents at Nordstrom. Next, I'm going in with my Pond's Dry Skin Cream. If you struggle with dry skin, this is an amazing product. It's great for sensitive skin. It doesn't like burn your eyes or anything, and it keeps your skin super moisturized throughout the day. Once we've done that, I'm going to go in with the Jason Vitamin E oil. I always use some type of oil on my face just because my skin is so dry. So if you are also somebody who struggles with dry skin, then I would recommend finding some type of face oil that works well with your skin. And I'm just taking a tiny amount. You don't want too much, otherwise it will be a little bit too oily and it can make your makeup move throughout the day. So don't overdo it on the oil. I kind of do just like 2 little drops, which goes a long way. Then of course I'm going to go in with an SPF sunscreen, and this is just the oil-free moisture sunscreen from Neutrogena, SPF 15. You can use any one you want, but it's very, very important to definitely protect your skin from the sun no matter what skin type you have. Then next I'm going to use a moisturizing facial spray. I'm just using Mario Badescu Skincare, the facial spray with aloe, herbs, and rose water. If you have time, sometimes you don't always have time in the morning, but if you do have that extra time, it's nice to let the skincare sit on your face for a couple of minutes before you go right in with your makeup, because sometimes that can make your makeup move throughout the day if your skincare didn't have time to kind of sink into your skin. So I will see you guys in about 10 minutes, well, probably in about 1 second for you guys. Next, I'm going to prime my face with the Too Faced Hangover Replenishing Face Primer. And this is a coconut water based primer. So it's supposed to be very hydrating for the face. Again, I would stay away, at least personally, from matte primers or anything that is going to dry out your face. Next, we're going to go in with our BB cream or foundation, whichever you prefer. I'm going to be going in with the Magic Skin Butter BB Cream by L'Oreal Paris in the color medium. And I am just going to rub this BB cream on with my hands, and then I'm going to finish buffing it out with my beauty blender. I tend to find that BB cream works much better on my skin type just because it is dry. Or if you are going to get a foundation, something I have learned is to stay away from super full coverage foundations because they tend to dry out skin more and look more cakey throughout the day just because they are heavier on the skin. Also too, if you are using a foundation, a good trick that I have found is you can use any type of face oil. I put the amount of foundation that I'm going to use on the top of my hand and I mix it with like 2 drops of that oil before I put it on my face, and it glides on so much smoother and better, and it feels nice and dewy, but not too dewy, and it doesn't dry out my skin. That's been a big game changer for me when I do use foundation. And the reason I use a beauty blender instead of a foundation brush is because I have found, at least with my dry skin, that when I use a foundation brush, it looks way more cakey. I can see streaks no matter how good quality the brush is. A beauty blender, a damp beauty blender specifically, is a total game changer for me. And you just have to play around with what works for your skin. Okay, so we're gonna stop the voiceover for a second. I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows and just apply my eyeshadow primer on my eyelids off camera real quick, because that's not really part of this video. But if you guys are curious to know, I am using the Sigma eyeshadow base primer in the color Persuade, and I do love this stuff. So let me go ahead and do that, and I will come back and we will continue. So now that I have my eye primer on and my eyebrows done, I'm gonna go ahead and do my concealer under my eyes and also on the top of my eyes to set it for eyeshadow. And I'm going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape in the color Light Sand today. I will say that this stuff is very, very thick, full coverage. So it took me a few uses to really get the hang of it and see how it works for my skin. I do not use a lot. I use very, very little, as you guys can see. And then I blend it with a beauty blender. It works so much better for me with a beauty blender. I am tapping. So I'm pretty much, what's that term they use? Beating my face. Never ever am I like rubbing or like pulling the concealer across my skin. I am lightly tapping it into place, because I find that with my dry skin, when I rub with the beauty blender, it ends up looking very, very dry and patchy. So that is a tip that I did forget to mention that works well for BB cream and foundation application as well. So when you are applying any type of cream to your face, just pat it with the beauty blender. Do not drag it across your face. Then I am going to bake my eyelids just so that I can really set that concealer into place before I apply my eyeshadow. And I am just using the Airspun translucent powder. You can get this on Amazon, and I think you can get it at some Targets. This stuff is really drying though to the face, so I wouldn't recommend baking your under eye area with it. This is when I usually would bake under my eyes, but I have actually stopped doing that because my skin is so dry that I really don't need to bake underneath my eye area. And I found that when I do bake under my eyes, that it really just dries out my under eyes even more and makes my fine lines stand out, and it just feels really dry and cakey throughout the day. So I have stopped doing that. I do still set my under eye, I just don't do a full-on bake. Next, I'm gonna go in with a different powder. I'm using my Translucent Botanical Face Powder by Virginic. It is a company that I've worked with in the past that I did a giveaway with a couple months ago on my channel, and I really like their face powder. So if you want to check it out, you can definitely do that. I will link their stuff in my description as well if you want to try it. I absolutely love it, and this is what I use on my face every single day. I am also going in with an Equal Tools full brush. So this is what I use to apply my powder every single day. Another thing I've learned is that using really big, dense powder brushes do not work well on my dry skin because it tends to drag the product across my face. And again, when you have dry skin, that's just not a good look. Once I have the product on my brush, I'm just going to lightly tap it underneath my eye area and nothing more. Do not brush it or stroke it. You're going to lightly tap it. And after that, I'm just going to take a little bit more of that powder, hardly any again, and I'm just going to put it on the rest of my face. When you're applying it to the rest of the face, obviously you can drag a little bit and go in circular motions because you're applying it to your entire face, but do it very, very lightly. I just don't do it under my eye area specifically because that's the place that tends to get cakey and dry the easiest. Next, I am going to contour my face, and I'm going to be using the Sigma Sculpt Highlight and Contour Palette, and the colors that I tend to stick to in this palette are Faking It and Throw Shade, which are the two bottom colors right here. And I go in very, very lightly with a light hand. I have learned with dry skin, going in with a light hand with everything, eyeshadow, foundation, powder, contour is key, because that's going to keep it from getting patchy looking and keep it going on as smoothly and evenly as possible. So you can use any brush that you want. I'm using an angled brush from MAC, which is really old. I should probably get a new one, but it still does the job. So next, I'm going to be going in with the Sigma Blush Cheek Palette, and I'm going to be sticking to Cor de Rosa and Tiger Lily. I always mix these colors together, and it comes out to a very beautiful peachy and warm toned color, which is what we're going for. You can use any blush brush that you have on hand. We're going to use the same method. I'm going to actually go lightly in circular motions, as you're going to see, until we get the color that we want. Now that we've finished applying our blush, the one area I do still bake is my contour area. So I am going to bake under where I applied the contour and the blush to have that more definitive line, and we will wipe away that bake at the end of our makeup application. So with that, I am going back in with my airspun powder. So I use my airspun powder for baking, and I use my other powder that I showed you guys from Virginic for my full face, because the airspun can be super drying if you use it on your entire face, but it works amazing for baking, you know, your contour line and your eyelid area. Okay, so the only thing left to do is like our eyeshadow and mascara, and of course our highlights and our lipstick, which I am going to do off camera because I don't really have any specific tips when it comes to dry skin for that. It's just basic makeup. So I'm going to do that and then I will be right back. Alright guys, so my makeup's pretty much done. I stuck to a simple, very warm tone, orangey tone makeup look today. And the last thing I need to do is just use my setting spray. So the last tip for dry skin when doing makeup that I recommend is to stay away from matte setting sprays, which I think I did say in the beginning of the video. So I use Mario Badescu in the beginning, which as you guys saw, when I'm applying my moisturizer. But to set my makeup, I find that this one, even though it's really, really hydrating, if I use it at the end of my makeup kind of moves throughout the day just because it is really, really moisturizing. So I actually use the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. So if you're looking for an affordable one, that's not going to break your bank, but that works pretty well. I would recommend this one. If you don't like a dewy finish, there are other moisturizing ones you could find. Pixi has some really good makeup setting sprays too. So there are moisturizing setting sprays out there that aren't dewy, but I love that dewy finish look. So we're going to go ahead and spray this. Okay guys, so I thought I would show you what the makeup looks like closer up. As you guys can see, it's not super, super bold, but I really like the way it came out. If you guys can tell, my skin doesn't look like super texturized. It doesn't look really cakey or really packed on. And again, this is all personal preference. And if you are looking for a more fuller face of makeup, fuller coverage, again, you can use foundation. Remember, I only used BB cream for this look. But as you can see, I even tried to smile so that you guys could see like my smile lines and stuff. I feel like the way I used to do my makeup when I would smile, it would really make my fine lines stand out because my face just felt so dry and cakey. So these new methods and tips that I just went over with you have helped my makeup look smooth no matter what, whether I'm smiling or not smiling. And I think that's something that's really hard to achieve when you have really, really dry skin. All right guys, that is all I have for you today. I really hope that you found these tips helpful. I am always looking to find good products for, you know, dry skin, whether that's makeup or skincare in itself, like moisturizer. So if you struggle with dry skin and you have some awesome products that I didn't mention, I would love for you guys to comment below what those products are. I'm sure everybody would appreciate that. So go ahead and do that. And if you have any questions, let me know. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I do post new videos every single week, and next week's video is going to be a paranormal video. So if you love all things beauty and spooky, I would love for you to join our YouTube family, like I said. So I will see you guys next week. Bye.